I've made a few videos about my favorite G5 character, Pip Petals, so I think it's time to make a video about the runner-up, Sunny Starscout. It's unfortunate that both of these characters are the subject of quite a lot of criticism from the fandom at large, so I'd like to take a chance and explain why I adore Sunny Starscout. I will say first, there is one thing I don't like about Sunny, and that's her dead Disney dad. It's an overused trope, and it doesn't add much to this character. In fact, as they've moved away from shoving Argyle in the audience's faces and asking for tears, and focused more on the other flaws and insecurities that Sunny faces, I think the character has only improved. So with that out of the way, let me talk about the traits that make Sunny an otherwise perfect protagonist. One thing I hear a lot is that Zip is the real protagonist of Make Your Mark. This is because she's the one who is most focused on stopping Opaline and investigating the clues that give them more information about Opaline and her plans. But the ponies didn't stop Opaline by overpowering her or even outsmarting her. They stopped her by undoing what she, and Twilight if we're being real, had done by dividing the ponies. They won by being united, and that's always how it was going to be. That's the central message of G5, and Sunny has been the protagonist all along because she's the one who was always working towards that. Every conflict she faces, fighting for unity alone in a divided world, upsetting the Earth ponies by mishandling Maritime Bay Day, struggling to generate interest in the community garden, learning to listen to every pony while still being practical with Canterlove Studios. She's always working to unite the ponies. Zip may have given them more information about Opaline, but it was Sunny who got them to the point where they could come together, sing a song, and rainbow laser Opaline when all other options were gone. This is the central story of G5, and while Sunny's not the only one who contributed towards bringing the ponies together, she is the protagonist. She also plays this role in her friend group, for example, calling out Zip for interrogating Misty or working so hard to make the most out of their celebrations. She was even the focal point for them meeting and moving into a home together. She is the glue that unites them. That's why making her an alicorn was the right decision. She is the literal, physical embodiment of the ideal she always fought for, which leads nicely to my next point. Making Sunny a temporary alicorn was also the right decision. She is a grounded protagonist, a common pony, not somehow above the rest of them. This is why I like her more than Twilight. Twilight was always special, destined for greatness, tutored by the ruler of Equestria, gifted with talents that put her above the rest, rewarded for achievements that were not solely her own. By contrast, Sunny is just an earth pony who runs a smoothie shop. She takes great joy and fulfillment in bringing happiness to her fellow ponies by means of blended fruit and baked goods. And that's not to say that she's disinterested in investigating clues from the past and stopping Opaline. She does go on a research excursion with Zip. She's just not as brazen about it because she has other things in her life. That simple, honest passion is endearing, especially for one who is also the alicorn and the protagonist. She also never lets it get to her head. Sunny has flaws, but pride is not one of them. She denies being a princess. She denies even being a leader, even though everyone else knows that's exactly what she is. Speaking of flaws, the protagonist is always in danger of being boring or bland, but Sunny has a couple of important flaws that make her stand out. One thing people are eager to point out is that she's overly dismissive of her friends' concerns, mostly Zip's. I think that was true at least once in Chapter 1, and arguably a couple of other times, but I think that largely went away as time went on, and she learned to trust her friends more. The first chronic flaw that I think is important to her character is her sudden mood swings. As idealists often are, she's prone to getting very emotional. This features prominently in the movie as well as a few Tell Your Tale episodes and Alicond. One thing that makes her particularly vulnerable to this is that she was a nearly friendless social outcast for most of her life, so she is reasonably fearful that her newfound place in the world has more to do with her magic wings and horn than who she is as a pony. Another struggle she faces is learning to control her alicorn powers. It's not really a character flaw per se, but it was a fun little through line that we saw in both Make Your Mark and Tell Your Tale. The other big flaw that needs to be addressed is her activist efforts can be a little misguided. You know, lying to her friend to get her protester moment, hijacking a traditional Earth Pony holiday to celebrate Pegasus and unicorn magic when that's the very thing the Earth Ponies were upset about, making a sign with a crossed out French fry. Her intentions are good, but she can be a little out of touch, which makes sense given her socially isolated past. So these are the reasons why I think Sunny is a nearly perfect protagonist. She is the true protagonist of G5 because she fights for unity, which is what won the day in the end. She is a grounded, humble protagonist despite being an alicorn, and she has nuanced flaws. Honestly, tracking her character development across the movie and both series makes it sound like G5 as a whole is a much more coherent and put together story than it actually is. They seem to have had a much clearer vision for Sunny's character than they had for a lot of other things. And this is why I have this love-hate relationship with G5 and I still can't let go. It is fatally flawed. But there are some aspects of it that are masterfully done, and Sunny Starscout is one of them. Peace out.